We have grown our community to 9,700 members, and through which our software business to multiple 8 figures in revenue, even before school communities were a thing. Now that Alex Hormozi is on board, you see community businesses popping up left and right. And so in today's video, I'll break down one of the tactics that probably led one of the most famous school community creators, David Fogarty, to build a $3.2 million empire. And if you stick through the next 10 minutes, I'll give you the whole strategy to copy and paste. So let's jump right in. Okay, what you can see here is the whole strategy mapped out. And let me just quickly share the details on our strategy. Back in the day, we still built communities on Facebook. Believe it or not, of course, we also do have a school community now, but I'll get to that in a second. And this was a major lever for us to grow our software business perspective funnels to multiple 8 figures in revenue. And so let me kick it off by showing you the 3 different phases that we have. So first, we'll talk about how you get traffic. So how can you get people to know about your community in the first place? Then what does the community funnel look like? So you can funnel the people that heard about your community into your community. And then what's the copy and paste template? All right, let me kick it off by jumping in with the traffic section. So first things first, of course, we have to choose a traffic channel, right? This could be Meta, for example. This could be Twitter or nowadays X. This could be LinkedIn, YouTube. Every channel works in a sense. The question is just, where is your audience? So decide based on where your audience lives. For us, a big channel is Meta, for example, because you can still run a lot of B2B traffic from Meta, believe it or not. Twitter is something we're testing currently. LinkedIn is also a great channel, and YouTube is also a great channel. But I'd argue that the easiest channels to start with are Meta and Twitter. A little bit harder is LinkedIn and YouTube, but if you do it right, you can get a really high quality traffic from LinkedIn and YouTube as well. And now as to Meta, for example, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see the different strategies that we use to scale an ad account to multiple 7 figures in ad spend, then check out the video that I'll link below or in the top right corner. All right, now that we have chosen our channel, we can just create ads, right? And the $3.2 million example that I talked about is David Fogarty. And I just poked this from his Facebook ad library, and you can see these are very, very simple ads. So one format that he's running is just a selfie picture of his. Then we have a tweet format, and last but not least, also a video format. And of course, you want to experiment with different types of creatives, but in the end, they usually get back to this exact formula that Davie also uses here. Now, what can we see in these ads? You can see that he is directly calling out his ICP, right? And then basically starts with a nice hook and then jumps in with a story, right? Especially in the second ad, we can see here, dear $1 million e-com founder, if you're anything like I was, 7 figures is just the beginning, you want more. Very nice intro to the story. And this is exactly the formula that we also use in most of our ads, which is first things first, we want to call out ICP, especially if you're running traffic on Meta. There's a lot of spread to people that you don't necessarily want to reach, right? And so we really want to be very specific as to the people that we talk to. Then we use the problem, agitate, solution framework, an age-old copywriting framework, where you basically call out the problem, then you try to make it heard as much as possible, and then you share the solution. And all of that is usually wrapped in a story, because guess what? People like stories. And so we basically take these 2 elements and this framework, or calling out our ICP, as well as the problem, agitate, solution framework, and then we wrap that into a story. Usually a story as to how we discovered the problem and how much it hurt us, and then of course how we discovered the solution, and then the results we got from our solution, right? Then this is basically all you have to know about getting traffic, because it's really as simple as that. Of course, there are some bits and pieces that you also have to understand as to what conversion objectives or what campaign objectives you use. But these details can be figured out, as I said in the video that I talked about. Now, jumping into the community funnel. The strategy that most people use is a combination of a free and a paid community. Why is that? Because usually most people that are running through this funnel are not necessarily qualified to be a paid community member, because the key to having high retention is the value that you provide in your community as well as the member quality, right? So you don't want a lot of inactive people, a lot of people that are not necessarily interested in what you have to say. And so we really try to optimize for member quality. And this is also what Davie does in his funnel, and this is exactly what this is focusing on, because scaling means maintaining high conversions while pre-qualifying heavily. So ideally you want a high conversion rate into the qualified bucket, right? We want to have many people as possible, but we want them to be qualified. And if we take a look at how Davie does this, we can see he has a long form sales page. If you want to check this out, I'll link it in the video description too. But basically he has this sales page where he just pitches the community and shares all the details around why you should join, which is obvious, right? That's the main product. The community is the main product. And then we get to the interesting part, which is the questionnaire. Davie, in this case, basically links to a simple questionnaire here too. You click get started, and then you are hit with a bunch of questions. And based on your answers to these questions, you either lead to the free community if you don't qualify, right? And then he just says, hey, unfortunately you don't qualify, but we have this free course or free community. And this is exactly the strategy that I was talking about, where I'm using a free community to basically have a hub for people that are, as of right now, not your ICP because they're too beginner stage, for example. And we want to share education with them so they can get towards being the ICP ICP that is actually qualified for the paid community. And so as you can see, he has 33,000 members in the free community here. And then, of course, if you are qualified, and by the way, this is primarily done based on a revenue question, but I'll get to that too in a second. If you're qualified, you're led to this paid community where you basically book a call. And then if you are purchasing his subscription, which is, by the way, roughly, I think $2,000 a month, then you are allowed into the paid community. Of course, this is a very heavy example of how you could do that if you have a very high ticket community. This is, of course, also possible with a community that's way lower priced and where you don't even have to offer sales calls. I'd say if you are selling a product above $2,000, above $3,000, then you should offer a sales call because people usually only buy when they're held by the hand, basically. But if you're anything below that, there is a possibility to do that with a really cool funnel and to get people into your community, into your paid community, without having to have any high touch support, any high touch sales team. And this is exactly what I'll show you now in a second, because the copy and paste funnel that I built for this is basically exactly what we do in a lot of cases to drive new users into our software. And that basically replicates this exact structure that Davie uses to run his community or to grow his community. So first things first, we want to have a sales page, right? And in this case, this is also, by the way, a way Davie could optimize his funnel. In this case, we have a simple landing page where we pitch the community. Now in this case, it says for $1 million agency. So once again, calling out the ICP, being very specific as to who we target. And we say fast track growth with mentorship from $10 million agency owners. Now this is the template that Davie uses, right? So this is really proven and you can just replicate that for yourself. But one thing that Davie could do differently, for example, is he could offer the first question of the questionnaire already in the first page, because what we see from our data is that usually people, once they start the quiz, once they start the questionnaire, they don't really drop off until the point where you ask for their contact or payment details. So we really want to get them into the quiz as fast as possible to ensure we have high conversions. And one example from our customers, he basically led 4,215 people into his community by leveraging quiz funnels. So I would really recommend you do the same. And this is just a quick hint, Davie, if you're watching this, you could implement that for yourself for a little bit higher conversion too. Then, of course, afterwards, we have the questionnaire that's actually pre-qualifying. And if you see on the left-hand side, we built this in a way where we have multiple questions. Now, in this case, same with Davie, we are using the revenue question to actually talk about or to actually define if a person is qualified or not. And so if we take a look at the live funnel here in perspective, we build this in perspective funnels, then we can basically see for the revenue question, right? I changed this a little bit. If you're below 5,000, you're led to the unqualified page. If you're below 10,000, you're led to the unqualified page. But if you're above anything like 10K a month, then you are led to the qualified page. And this is basically the magic here. So we can then split the funnel into the free community as well as the paid community. And then in perspective, we just set up different thank you pages in a sense, right? Where we have different offers. So if we take a look at that here, for example, for the qualified page, we say, hey, application successful, here are the next steps. And then we have this video sales letter, basically pitching the next step. So this could be a book call like Davie does it if you have a higher ticket community. If it's just, as I said, like in the realm of $100 a month to $2,000 a month, then you should probably just link to the community and have a really, really engaging sales letter, basically pitching the community in itself, because that can be enough to drive $100 a month, $200 a month, even $1,000 a month in sales. If you're anything higher than that, I would really recommend to implement the sales team. Now, if you have an unqualified person, you would just replicate that same thing for the unqualified person. You would build out a funnel or a thank you page in this case, where you then pitch the free course and you lead people to the free community so you can start turning them into your ICP that then will someday start paying the bigger retainers or bigger monthly fees for the paid community. And this is exactly the strategy that Davie is using. And the fun thing is you can just copy and paste that funnel. I'll show you how in a second. But the next step, of course, once you have multiple people in your Skool community, the biggest challenge is to incentivize engagement and provide massive value, because this is the only way you can actually retain people. It's the same for us in our software business, right? If you start a free trial, if you build your first funnel, but you're not able to get your first leads to grow your Skool community or whatever your use case really is, then of course you will churn again, right? You won't use the funnel anymore. And it's the same for Skool communities. If you're offering, for example, how to get to $5,000 a month with your agency and people are not really able to get that from the content and you can't really help them on the path there, of course they'll churn. That's a no-brainer. So the next challenge is incentivizing engagement and providing massive value, but Skool has a lot of tools to exactly do that and is super helpful there. And so if you want to test this for yourself, you can just grab the template and free trial below to basically copy and paste this funnel into your Perspective account and try it for free, run your first traffic, see if it actually works. So you don't have to build out anything custom like Davie did and do any coding or stuff like that. So you can really get up and running in just an hour. If you create your free trial in a minute, then basically select the template that I'll send you by email and you should be good to go. Then of course, we also have a super exclusive Skool community where we are sharing more strategies like this on how to use funnels to grow your business, grow your community and all the good stuff. So if you sign up for the free trial and grab this template for yourself, you're also invited to the Skool community. So that being said, this is the exact strategy that Davie used to grow a Skool community to over $3.2 million in sales. And if you want to test that out for yourself, then you can just copy and paste the free template that I linked below. Thank you so much for watching. If there are any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.